Hey Sam, on behalf of myself and Kevin and everybody at Colliers, just wanted to say congratulations on this well-deserved honor.
On behalf of Art Best, and as a Burlsworth Foundation board member, congratulations, Sam.
Congratulations, Sam, from your friends here at UVS. We appreciate everything you do for the Arkansas community.
Congratulations, Sam.
Sam, congratulations on the Burlsworth Legends Award. Can't think of anyone more deserving of the legacy. Congratulations from your Razorback family, and go Hawks.
Hey Sam, on behalf of myself and Kevin and everybody at Colliers, just wanted to say congratulations on this well-deserved honor.
On behalf of Art Best, and as a Burlsworth Foundation board member, congratulations, Sam.
Congratulations, Sam, from your friends here at UVS. We appreciate everything you do for the Arkansas community.
Congratulations, Sam.
Sam, congratulations on the Burlsworth Legends Award. Can't think of anyone more deserving of the legacy. Congratulations from your Razorback family, and go Hawks.
Hey Sam, on behalf of myself and Kevin and everybody at Colliers, just wanted to say congratulations on this well-deserved honor.
On behalf of Art Best, and as a Burlsworth Foundation board member, congratulations, Sam.
Congratulations, Sam, from your friends here at UBS. We appreciate everything you do for the Arkansas community.
Congratulations, Sam.
Sam, congratulations on the Burlsworth Legends Award. Can't think of anyone more deserving of the legacy. Congratulations from your Razorback family, and go Hawks.
Hey Sam, on behalf of myself and Kevin and everybody at Colliers, just wanted to say congratulations on this well-deserved honor.
On behalf of Art Best, and as a Burlsworth Foundation board member, congratulations, Sam.
Congratulations, Sam, from your friends here at UBS. We appreciate everything you do for the Arkansas community.
Congratulations, Sam.
Sam, congratulations on the Burlsworth Legends Award. Can't think of anyone more deserving of the legacy. Congratulations from your Razorback family, and go Hawks.
Hey Sam, on behalf of myself and Kevin and everybody at Colliers, just wanted to say congratulations on this well-deserved honor.
On behalf of Art Best, and as a Burlsworth Foundation board member, congratulations, Sam.
Congratulations, Sam, from your friends here at UVS. We appreciate everything you do for the Arkansas community.
Congratulations, Sam.
Sam, congratulations on the Burlsworth Legends Award. Can't think of anyone more deserving of the legacy. Congratulations from your Razorback family, and go Hawks.
We want to thank the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame for hosting our event tonight. For the last 11 years, the Brandon Burlsworth Foundation has hosted the annual Legends event. And tonight, we welcome you to our very first virtual Legends event, Legends Live. Legends was established to recognize and pay tribute to individuals who have made tremendous contributions to the state of Arkansas. And we are honored to have the opportunity to recognize another such individual tonight, Sam Alley. We have a fun, fast-moving show planned for you that I know is going to be extremely entertaining. And be sure to look for our auction items and the donation QR codes that will appear on the screen from time to time. The next hour will go by quick, so make sure you stay with us. You don't want to miss a minute of what we have in store.
It's a special place, this place we call home. Arkansas. It's a little greener than many parts of the country, and nothing can beat an Arkansas sunset. In sports, we have no professional teams. We don't need one. We have the Razorbacks. Young boys growing up in this state dream of someday being a Razorback. And Brandon Burlsworth was one of those boys. Growing up in Harrison, Brandon Burlsworth was not a naturally gifted athlete. Extra work and extra effort were always required. And through that work, he made himself into an outstanding high school player.
2-yard line, an important fourth down situation here for the Goblins. The snap is back, shovel pass up the middle, and it stays home. Oh, what a momentum booster for the Goblins that is. Brandon Burlsworth stays home from the shovel pass, and the Goblins take over on downs.
But colleges didn't seem to notice. Armed with a strong faith and a belief in himself, Burlsworth decided to walk on at the University of Arkansas. He was going to be a Razorback. Earning a scholarship after just one semester on campus, Brandon Burlsworth was a 3-year starter for the Hogs, named All-Conference twice and finished his career as an All-American.
This guy is dominating offensively.
Indeed, he's also a quality guy. We had more fun talking with him. He was a walk-on. Now he's an All-American. He also is brilliant. He's a great student.
In 1999, the NFL came calling.
In the next pick of the draft, Indianapolis selects offensive guard from the University of Arkansas, Brandon Burlsworth.
After attending his first minicamp with the Colts, he was named the starting right guard for his upcoming rookie season.
I'm a pretty basic type guy, I'm not really flashy, kind of to my, keep quiet, kind of to myself, and that's the kind of person I am, and,
But that first season never came, as a tragic auto accident took his life just 11 days after the draft. But the story of Brandon Burlsworth does not end there. Through the efforts of the Brandon Burlsworth Foundation, less fortunate children from all corners of the state of Arkansas are given a helping hand. Children are given the opportunity to be on a college campus and attend their very first Razorback game. The Burls Kids program also continues to provide a once-in-a-lifetime game day experience in Indiana with the Colts. And each summer, the Brandon Burlsworth football camps not only teach the game of football, but more importantly, the game of life. The Burlsworth Scholarship had its beginning in 1999. The University of Arkansas awards multiple $5,000 scholarships and one $10,000 scholarship for a walk-on athlete each year. And then there is the Burlsworth Trophy, a national award presented annually to the most outstanding college football player that began his career as a walk-on. On the high school level, the Burlsworth Character Award recognizes high character in student athletes. This award is not only given out in the state of Arkansas, but nationwide, all 50 states. The Eyes of a Champion brings much-needed eye care to students in all 75 counties in Arkansas and parts of Oklahoma and Texas. The goal is to eventually have this all-important program spread nationwide. The life and legacy of Brandon Burlsworth continues to inspire young and old alike. When others told him, "You can't," he said, "I can." He understood that nothing is given to you. You have to earn it. In some aspects of our lives, we are all walk-ons. Brandon Burlsworth truly is the walk-on who lives on.
Now's the moment we've been waiting for. Our MC certainly needs no introduction, so Keith Jackson, let's get started.
I appreciate you allowing me to be a part of this. I just want you to know here at the round table today, we are social distance and we wore our masks on the way in. So we're doing everything properly. I want to introduce the people at the table. I want to go to my left first and come around. Actually, to my left is High Priest of Annexation Greek Orthodox Church of Little Rock. Father has been in his position since January 1st, 1999. And I'm a Philadelphia Eagle, but I did see this in your bio. You had a lot of great things in your bio. I mean, national boards you're on, but also in your bio, you said you're a Dallas Cowboy fan. I'm going to throw it out there. And a proud Razorback fan, but along with being a friend and helping Sam on so many projects, Father Nicholas Venderis right here. On the other side of him is the CEO of Aon Transportation Logistics Practice, Commercial Risk Solutions. But first, Mark started his own business, S. Marks Brockington Associates, Inc., becoming a dominant factor in transportation insurance and risk management market in Arkansas before merging with Aon, and is a super friend of Sam, Mark Brockington. Next in line is Derek Alley. He's a managing director of VCC and participated as part of the executive team. Derek made some impressive stops before he came home to VCC. He had BlackRock Inc., Dutch Bank, after graduating from Stanford University. And don't forget, he holds the distinction of being the son of the honoree. Now, you heard from Marty Burlsworth earlier. You know him. If you've been a part of the foundation, you know everything about him. I don't really need to introduce him. And our honoree for the day that you're going to hear a whole bunch of good stuff about and a little trash talking about, Sam Alley, who needs no introduction. I don't want to fill in too much information on Sam because I'm going to let some of the people at the table talk about you really bad, Sam, or really nice. I warned Derek. I said, Derek, remember you have to go home and be with him. So you got to be very nice. I do want to start off with this ability. I'm so grateful to the Burlsworth Foundation for allowing me to be a part of this. I am so grateful to Sam Alley for actually asking me to be the MC of this program. We've been friends for quite some time. Sam is a great friend to everybody. I don't think he meets a stranger. I want to say that. He's done well financially. He's done well in business. We know he's a businessman. We know he's a family man with great values. But what y'all didn't know is Sam Alley was almost a prophet. Almost for a short while. We're riding down to the LSU game. You remember this, Sam? We're going to the LSU game, and LSU has dominant talent. We're okay. We've got a shot to win the game. And Sam said, hey, buddy. That's what he starts off everything. Hey, buddy, let me tell you something. You're going to announce this on the radio because this is going to be the biggest upset in history. We're going to beat LSU today. And, I'm a homer, too, with the Arkansas Razorback. I go, Sam, they're pretty good, and we're just okay and everything. Sam go, all right, when it happens, announce it on the radio. I said, okay, Sam. Well, Arkansas scores a touchdown. You remember what happened? The next play, Alonzo Highsmith Jr., I think, intercepts the ball, and he goes in for a touchdown. We're up 14-0. And I'm sitting there going, Sam Alley is a prophet. He is. And then we didn't score another point after that. So he's still a good friend. He's still a family man, right? He's still a businessman, but he's no prophet. Speaking of prophet, I know. Speaking of prophet, I want to go over here and talk to someone who would know more about prophets than anybody else, Father Nicholas. Father Nicholas, you know Sam Alley's heart better than anybody at the table, right? That's sitting here right now. You've had a chance to be a part of it. You've seen his charitable side of him. You've seen the spiritual side. When I say the spiritual side, the man, the spiritual being side. Can you go into that just a little bit?
Sure. I mean, you cannot talk about Sam without talking about his faith. Sam really is one of these people who's so unique in this day and age. We talk about all the different characteristics we want in leaders and in executives, but Sam brings to it a passion for the Lord. Sam is always looking to then not only just be a practitioner of faith, but also to live it. Countless times in my over 20 years of knowing Sam, his commitment to charity, to help others, and in a quiet way. I think a beautiful example, we had just arrived in Arkansas, and maybe the first year or so my wife and I were new, and my wife is in a store, and she meets someone, and they start talking, and the conversation about the church came up, and a gentleman walking by stopped and said to my wife, he says, oh, do you go to the Annunciation, that church? And my wife, a little surprised, goes, yes. He says, do you know Sam Alley? And my wife is, well, yes, we do. And he said, he is such a good and great man, and walked away. And my wife was like, you know, have no idea who this was, but he heard the name of the church and he knew Sam was a part of it, and immediately could summarize his characteristics. And I think that has been a hallmark whenever there has been a need, whether it's here in Little Rock, around the world. Sam wants to help. Sam wants to be there to assist and provide whatever he can, and he doesn't look for the accolades. He doesn't look to be recognized. He just wants God's love to shine through what he's doing.
I want to come back and talk about the individual things. I know there's things that they do at the church that he's a part of. I want to go through some of those individuals, but I do want to go to Mark because I want to get to when Sam was young, right? That's a long time ago when Sam was young. You're the person at the table. Yeah, well, I was going to say that. You don't have to beat me to the fact that you're old. You're old.
We're about the same age.
Well, don't tell everybody. Don't tell everybody. You know a lot about over 30 years of knowing about, you know, going back 30 years, you know a lot of information about Sam, and you can share some of the old days and just talk about the youth.
Well, I remember the very first time I met him. We were, Kim and I, along with Sam and Janet and a bunch of other young couples, were kind of pioneers out in Chenal when they were developing Chenal, and we built houses out on the Chenal Circle. You later joined us out there, Keith, and it was a great neighborhood, young couples raising kids, and so we'd got settled in, and Kim said, you know, let's host a little party, you know, and have the neighbors over, and so we did, and we, you know, had a grand piano playing in the foyer, and we had a bunch of, you know, it was good food and good time, and at the end of the night, I was sitting there listening to the young man at the grand piano, and a guy walked up to me, and he said, Mark, thanks for doing this. I'm Sam Alley. And Sam, you know, we just had a nice conversation. And the one thing I noticed, you know, Sam didn't quite look or sound like the rest of the neighbors, you know. And so we had a little conversation, you know, about, because, you know, everybody in the circle were like, where'd you come from? Right, you know, and I said, well, you know, I grew up in North Little Rock. He said, well, I was in North Little Rock. And I said, you kidding me? And he said, no. But yeah, I said, I grew up in Levy. He said, well, you know, I was in Rose City. I'm thinking, man, I played a lot of ball with guys from Rose City, and I ain't never seen anybody look at Sam, you know, talk like Sam Alley. So anyway, and that was the very beginning. Who could have known? I mean, there were people there that night that really I probably saw another 2 or 3 times in my life. And so who could have known from that chance little get-together over the Christmas holiday that this friendship would blossom over, 30 years. And what I really want to say, though, is when y'all called me to be a part of this, my head immediately went to how right and perfect is that Sam Alley should be the recipient of this award. Because in Arkansas, everybody knows this guy's story, right? Yes. Brandon Burlsworth's story. And when I thought about it, I thought, man, what, you know, a walk-on, he's a walk-on from Harrison, Arkansas. You know, he could have gone to Arkansas Tech, or he could have gone to Southeast Oklahoma. He could have gone somewhere and play. But you don't walk on from Harrison, Arkansas to an SEC school. You walk on to get beat up by the 4- and 5-star guys in practice, right? You don't walk on to kind of, you know, be the guy. And so you know that story. And I think about Sam, right? And you're talking about the walk-on. Mm-hmm. I mean, you grow up in Ramallah outside of Jerusalem, and your dad and you got rockets landing in your neighborhood, and your dad says, I got to get you kids to where you got a chance in life.
Is that any different than Rose City?
We're coming to America, man. And so you look at Brandon and you look at Sam and say, what happens when, you know what they got? They got a shot. Yep. And a lot of people get a shot in life, but who takes advantage of the shot? Right. You know, it's that kid that's you're just going to get beat up on, and you're going to be a nice guy and practice for 4 years. But that guy said, no, I'm here, I'm serious, I'm going to outwork everybody, I'm dedicated. And if you just know Sam Alley, that's who he is. I got a shot. I can't talk English. Right. I'm 14 years old. Right. I go to Arkansas at 18. And that guy builds what he's built and is the largest retail contractor in America for the retail space. And Brandon Burlsworth goes from walk-on to All-American to drafted by the Colts, and he was on his way to an All-Pro career. And so this is so perfect. Those guys, the parallels in their life.
If we would have had a crowd out there today, they'd be clapping right
They
now.
would.
That is
They would.
It's a great success, so we're going to clap. That's a great success. Sam, I want to come back to you, Mark. We got some time. I got some other stuff I want to ask you. I need some inside information and punish him a little bit. Don't tell all the nice stuff.
I know.
All right, but I want to make my way around. I want to talk to Derek a little bit because Derek, you made a decision to come back and work for your father. Can you tell us, why you would do something like that?
Yeah, it's crazy, right? No, I'm honored to be the voice of youth at this table, by the way. So appreciate you guys having.
Just keep living.
And I would like to make the point that, like, honestly, just being here in this award, it's an honor for our whole family, and obviously, so proud of Dad and what he's done in his life. But I'll focus on your question, and the reason. So honestly. My dad is somebody who I think really respects people that blaze their own path. And so growing up and going to college, I had no preconceived notion of coming back and working for him. Because it was important to me to earn his respect. And so I had this intention of really doing my own thing. I grew up in the business, and maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later. I mean, it was, while he was growing VCC, it was such an important part of my youth and my childhood and my development period, but I want to do my own thing. And then, and I got some opportunity to do that. And I think we finally, looked each other in the eye and came to the realization, like, the opportunity to do great things together was too good to pass up, honestly. And we knew that obviously a lot of great things had already been done, but that together and with the broader team around us, we could take it to new heights. And that's what we've been trying to do every day. And so it's been unbelievable. There are some really great stories about family businesses and families working together. There are some really terrible stories about families. And I have to say, I give my father a lot of credit for our story objectively being one of the great stories. We love working together. We talk every day. I mean, sometimes I have to be, is this my dad talking? Because if it's my dad, I'm going to hang up. If it's my boss, I'll listen. And so, we navigate the line a little bit, but really, it's been an honor to be by his side, to be a small part of the broader team's success, and wouldn't have it any other way. Now looking back, 13 years now.
Yeah, it's really interesting because Sam is always talking about his kids and talking about you, and he made a statement. He said, I tell Derek, I know Stanford is a hard university. I want you to make good grades, but here's what you told me, and I tell my kids the same thing. I would rather for you to have a lot of contacts in your phone. Because he was teaching you to be the businessman that he was. So I took that from Sam, and I told my kids the same thing. I said, look, the grades are important, don't get me wrong, but I'd rather for you to start these contacts and these friendships that you have in your phone that makes you a great businessman. Just great information from him.
Keith, if you don't mind, just to add to that point alone, I mean, one of the things I think is one of Sam's greatest qualities is that, to your point earlier, he has never met a stranger, and he takes a meeting with anybody that wants to meet with him. And of course, a young guy coming into business, I'm like, hey, I'm busy. You got to start filtering through which meetings you're going to take or whatever. And Dad at really early in my career taught me, listen, you never. You gotta have 100 phone calls to get the one that's going to make a difference in your business or in your life. And so be out there meeting people. You never know how a conversation like a chance meeting at a Christmas party might turn into a lifelong friendship or a lifelong business relationship. So
I want to come back to you, but I'm coming to Father Nicholas after this. I want to talk a little bit more about the charitable things that Sam does. There are some giveaways, right? So we've got some giveaways. We got some giveaways. And if you like to eat like I do, then you love the giveaways. We have the opportunity. I know Marty talked about it earlier, but don't forget there's a $500 gift card to Doe's Eat Place. You got a chance to eat at Doe's. And then there's a $500 gift card to Arthur's Steakhouse. And then there's some auction items. You want to talk a little bit about the auction items?
Yeah, absolutely. Through some generous donations, we have a really great package for a Cowboys experience, 6 tickets and 2 parking passes to a Cowboys game next season, the 21-22 season, or whenever COVID allows us to have a normal season. Right. But and so we look forward to one of the supporters and sponsors having that experience. We have a Razorback game day experience, rooms at the Graduate Hotel, field passes for pregame warm-ups on the field with the Razorbacks, and 4 tickets in the stands. And then also a wonderful experience for the St. Louis Cardinals, which is 4 tickets to primetime seats to a Cardinals game, airfare, and rooms at the Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah, that is awesome. That's big. I also heard you could be in a box or behind the dugout, so you got a choice of where you want to sit.
Absolutely. Will that be the Super Bowl?
Did you just say Cowboys? You gotta love Jerry Jones. I mean, let's go back to Rose City, right? I mean, you think about, and we talked. You know, when you think about the whole story of Nathaniel in the Bible, they say, "Can anything good come out?" He says, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth? Can anything good come out of Rose City?" The answer is yes.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
been 2.
Apparently, if your father owned a grocery store and you lived upstairs, you're going to be really, you're going to do really well.
You're
Jerry Jones and Sam.
Right, that's right. That's big time. Let's go back to some of the charitable things. I mean, there's some names on it, and I just want you to put some names on some of the things that Sam's been involved in.
Sure. I mean, well, first and foremost, you begin with just his commitment to the parish itself. Right. I mean, he's taken on leadership roles in the lay council, what we call the parish council, the festival that we do that supports all the, every year supports about 7 different charities. Sam, not only in the years past would work at it or lead it, but also Sam makes sure that it happens. He will help send labor or talent to set things up and what have you, and he never thinks twice about that's for the church, that's for good cause. He helps. We have a scholarship foundation to help young people in our parish with their education. And, Sam and his family were immediately one of the first people to make sure that they had committed to that because education was important, making those contacts, helping build a house for a needy family overseas. Sam and his family were immediately like, we're in. We're going to make that happen. An orphanage in Kenya, can help thousands of, not thousands, but hundreds of children, help build a well. Sam was like, how can we make that happen? Time after time, you don't have to look very far. Like Derek said, his door is always open. And if he's not knocking on your door to help, you can always knock on his. And I think that is true in so many different small ways and big ways. Sometimes we look at the big projects. I think other times we have to look at just the way someone like Sam carries himself, the way that no matter where he travels, wherever he goes, he finds a church to go to, but he always calls Little Rock home and comes home to church.
I'm wondering this because when you grow up, I guess you say meager accommodations when you live above a grocery store, he has a heart for kids. If it's anything to do with children, he's like impactful. He's a part of it. He's always volunteering. I don't know what he does for adults, but I will tell you, if it's got to do something with children, Sam Alley's going to be a part of it. So that's exciting to know. And I always get my Euro fix doing the Greek Fest. So you had to go by there during the Greek Fest. Yeah, it is the best. You got those lines out there, I always go in to get it fixed. Okay, Bart, let's talk a little bit about golf. And you know Sam and golf.
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Sam and I, when we moved to Chenal, of course, he had played a lot at the Rose City Country Club. It was a McKenzie course. He grew up on it, and Ramallah's a big golf haven. But great, so he had some experience on me. And let me tell you another reason he's been so generous is all the money he's won off of me in golf. He given half of that's mine. You should send me a charitable donation. Yeah. You should announce that at your church. Thank you for Sam and Mark Brockett. So anyway, over the years, Sam, just like business and life, he's very competitive, right? And so he is scrappy. You'll think you got him down. And we laugh. We say we should just go play the 18th hole because that's going to decide the match. And so over the years, our little wager became dinner. And it became dinner with our, with our wives, and sometimes we'd have it right after the match, or, we'd schedule it up. And so, one particular day, it was an excruciating loss for me on the 18th green. He'd get it up and down out of nowhere, right, and win the match. And so we said, well, we'll go to dinner at Authors, the old Authors. And so I said, yeah, that's great. And so he said, hey, Mark, I've got a couple of, one of my nieces and nephews is in town. And he said, you mind if I bring them? I said, no, that's be fine. And so we show up at Authors, and, a couple walks in, and a few minutes later, a couple more walks in, and a couple more walks in, and we're pulling tables together, and I said, man, these look like they're flying in from Jerusalem. And we got a big old table, and the bill was pretty good, and he looked over at me, Mark, and he said, man, that's a pretty tough loss you had today, Mark. It was good. Or another time when we were in Atlanta, and we were at Sage Valley, and we played, and we'd had a big old dinner, and the girls, Kim and Janet, drove us back. We were staying at the Ritz-Carlton, and Father, I hate to admit this, but I think there was a little grape juice involved, and we got back really late, and so we get. Well, but it was a long time ago. We have matured. And so we get out of the car and we walk into the lobby of the Ritz-Carlton, walk through the lobby, we get on the elevator, and the girls aren't paying much attention to us, and so as we're getting off the elevator, I said, Kim, boy, that's a big dinner. And she looks at me and she said, what in the world? And so my coat sleeves are about right here, and the jacket's about right here, and it's like a straight jacket. And she said, Mark, something's not right. And about the time the phone rings in the room, and it's Sam, and he said, Marky B, he calls me Marky B. He said, Marky B, he said, I think I'm wearing your jacket. And so he comes down the elevator, and you can't see his arms. I'm 6'4", 5", and he's whatever. And it's hanging down below. If he'd have had on a pair of sandals, he'd have looked like a disciple from Jerusalem. So we've had a lot of great golfing stories over the years.
Well, one of his great disappointments is the fact that I don't play or don't do well with golf. And so one of the first times, he's like, Father, you're going to love this game and what have you. He brings me out and he sees me do a few shots and he kind of looks and goes, yeah, you can ride in the cart though. Right. You don't have to go home. And I was like, my ministry is cut short.
This is hard to segue into some serious stuff, but Derek, I do want to be able to let everybody know that's listening in about Sam the father. I mean, that's big. There's a lot of kids out there who grow up with no father, and I know you know how blessed you are in that regard.
Extremely. Yeah. He's been the best father, to just put it bluntly. But it's amazing now with some perspective and being a father myself. And I think about how hard it must have been to grow a family and grow a company, and you look back and I know how hard he worked. I know how much he was on the road, and I can tell you, as me and my sisters would attest to, we never felt like he wasn't there at all times. I mean, and when he was with us, he was extremely present. I think that's like one of his best qualities. If he's in the room, if he's with you, he's present in that moment in time. He's got a lot going on, and he's got a mild ADD probably, but he's got this great quality about being present. And family and being God-centered is just at the top of everything he did. And I think one of the things that I learned from him, so I'm trying to impart on my kids some of the things I learned, as being his son, and how a father should act and how a father should set example and do things. But his definition of family, I think, is critical. It's the broadest definition of family you could possibly have. Like everybody at this table, obviously immediate. It's not our 5-person, unit. It's not even our broader. We have a really deep aunts and uncles and cousins and broader family. It's not even that. It's if you have an opportunity to be a part of Sam's circle, you're part of his family, and that extends to the Arkansas community. So, I think that shows out in his philanthropy and other things he does. Is when he has the opportunity alongside other great people to help people in the state or help people abroad. He's like, you know what? The reason he's so eager to do it is because he's like, there's family on the other end on the receiving end of this philanthropy, and I want to help family. And so, he was a great fighter. He's tough as hell. I mean, sorry, yeah. I mean, and but knows how to listen, and knows how to let great ideas come to the top, and will hold you accountable. And I'd say the last thing I would bring up is and anybody that's been around him on a golf course, which golf was a big part of our lives. I mean, I think Dad and I have developed our friendship, and I consider ourselves best friends. I mean, we developed our friendship on the golf course. We learned how to play the game together. Now I was 6. And he was, in his early 30s, and so one of us is now a better golfer. We won't go into that, but one of us may have more time. Exactly. That's right. So but it was a blessing to be around him, and I've learned so much from him on how to be a father, and it's I'm honored to call him Dad.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How many, anybody can answer this at the table, how many people have you heard say, Sam Alley is my best friend? I mean, because you hear people say that, and I go, you're supposed to only have one best friend?
Yeah, it pains me, because I really thought I was his best friend, so it's tragic to know that he has other best friends.
And I think that's what Derek talks about. He lives in those moments where he makes you feel important.
Yeah, there's no question.
A lot of people, they look around, they check their phone, everything. When Sam is talking to you, he just stares at you like, you're the most important thing, and I'm valuing that. And that's very rare in some people. Marty, I want to hit you with one question before I move on. Why Sam Alley?
Oh man, easy. I mean, just like Mark alluded to earlier, I mean, what a journey, having to even learn the language. I mean, Sam and I talked, and when I learned of Sam's story, it's just, I mean, you talk about having to earn it.
Right.
Having to earn it, and that's what Brandon did. Yeah. When maybe a lot of people didn't have a belief, in Brandon. Sam had the same, type journey, he was a walk-on, in his regard. I mean, a very tough thing to do, and the obstacles he overcame, Sam. So it was not, the correlation is just so similar, but Brandon and Sam is just amazing.
Sam, I want to talk to you. Honoree Sam Alley, ladies and gentlemen. Honoree Sam Alley. Hey, I think these guys did a great job of being able to talk, but I want to leave you some time. Everybody's alluding to this rag to riches story. You tell it better than anything. I mean, spend some time and tell the story about coming to the United States, not speaking the language, all that stuff. Just kind of add some content to that.
Well, thank you, Keith. First of all, I'm honored to receive this award, and it's really more about the foundation and what the Burlsworth family has done, and in really helping kids. As you said, I love helping kids, and I'm honored. And I want to thank the board of the Burlsworth Foundation, and I want to thank your family, Marty, and all my friends and others that have contributed and helped the foundation. And so my story is someone that had come to the United States, to Rose City, and when I got to school, they thought I came from Mars. But at the same time, knowing in life, and my father has said that you always got to focus on making it in life, and no matter what situation you're in. And so I knew that my father didn't want us to give up, never give up. And so knowing not speaking English, knowing the fact that I was going to have to roll my sleeves and work hard and try to have hope, and be able to work to communicate with people, and then communicate with teachers. And this is why I love America, is that when you work hard and you have hope, and people see that you are doing that, the teachers came forward and started helping me out more and probably not graded me in accordance to the class.
Right,
Otherwise, I'd have
right,
flunked,
right.
and I wouldn't be here tonight. Let's be transparent about this. So it was something that I've seen helping me, and this is why people like this group and others want to help kids to really make it through life. Right. So that journey started in Rose City and started with teachers showing me that they care and they want people to make it as long as they show the effort and the dedication and the desire to make it. And
I love the parallel between Brandon and Sam. I think that's one word that sums that up, Marty, and that's overcomer. Yeah. You know, we're built to be overcomers. Some people don't do it in society today, but they were overcomers. And you know, it's one thing about it, says you overcome by the blood and by the word of your testimony. What we're hearing from Sam is his testimony. Not only him, but they slept head, feet. I mean, there was several brothers up in that.
5 brothers, and 3 slept on the floor, and I was on the bed though. But
the older got on the bed, but that was age though. That had nothing to do with how smart you was. It's just you get older, you get to bed, right? You know, you thank the Burlsworth Foundation for accepting you, but just give me a little bit more about what does this mean to get this kind of award?
Oh my goodness, it means a lot, and to be honored like this and to be thought of in the first place. It just really was a very humbling experience. It means a lot because, as I said earlier, it's about a foundation, and it's about kids, and it's about really bringing friends and family to understand more about the foundation and what the foundation's all about, and helping these kids as the foundation has done over the last 11 years. So to me, it's really seeing the foundation. And to me, it's just an honor to be part of the equation here.
So I got to ask you this question because Derek, he's sitting here at the table. He's gotten all this wisdom, and we have a chance to put this where everybody can hear it. If you were talking to a younger generation, what would you tell them about the struggle and how you can overcome those struggles?
Well, you know, observing life, and everybody has struggles in their lives. Right. No one has a smooth sailing. So there's going to be storms that you're going to run into, and you got to be able to navigate around the storms. And it starts with hope. You always got to have hope. And you have to have desire. Right. You have to have the desire to be successful, right, and to want to make it, and have a goal. And a goal that's realistic. I could not play football. I'm realistic, or basketball.
Right. That's
realistic. Well, actually,
that is realistic.
Well, I played soccer, and we called soccer football.
That's right. Okay.
And when I came to the United States, I told my dad, and I was watching the Arkansas-Texas game back in '71. This first game I watched, Joe Ferguson was the quarterback, and I said, Dad, what is this? He said, football. I said, that looks like wrestling to me. That's not football. But and that's when I became a big Razorback fan, because we won the game.
Right. There it is. Hey, speaking of Razorback fan, that's another thing that you have in common with Brandon is that you're both huge Razorback fans. You got a story a little bit about some Razorback deal, or
I do have a story. So a lot of what we're talking about here is faith and family, and Kim and I are people of faith, and that was really the early connection when we figured out, you know, Sam and Janet and the story. And we got to Jerusalem. If you're a person of faith, there's always, you know, a quest in your life. And so I remember we were talking, and we talked about it for 20 years. And finally one night we're out to dinner, and they said, let's just go. And Sam said, Janet, when's the best time to go? And she said, September. And so we just said, we put it on our calendar. Sam's the guy that said, put it on your calendar. And so we went to Jerusalem and spent time in Israel, and just had everything you've ever read and every message you've ever heard, it just comes to life, right? And so it was a remarkable experience, and got to go to Sam's boyhood home, and which was really brings it all to life, his story. But we're staying in the King David Hotel, and it was a Saturday, and it was late as I recall, and Sam had his iPad out, and he's trying to get a Razorback game in the King David Hotel, and we're overlooking the old city, and so he'd come in and out, and so we're playing Georgia at Georgia, and it was 10 years ago this month, I believe it was September of 2010, and it'd come in and out, and so Sam says, he said, y'all, Janet and Kim, he said, we're going to pray that the Hogs are going to win. And so my wife, a real prayer warrior, looks over me and she said, there's a lot to pray about, and I don't think the Hogs are probably one of them. And I said, well, just pray that, Sam has a good, pray for something and act like you're praying for that. And so we did, and it was an exciting game at the end, and they won. In fact, it might have been the last time they won. Well, it was the last time they beat in Georgia, right? They talked about beating Georgia one time, and so it was this dramatic win. And so after the game, Sam's pretty excited, and he texts Jeff Long, and he said, the reason you won is that my buddy Marky B and I are here overlooking the Holy Sepulchre of Jerusalem, and we were praying for the Hogs, and that's the reason you won this game. And he is still convinced that that's the case, and who's to know it wasn't.
Well, let me just say,
it was a good experience.
He's not a prophet, but maybe he can be a priest. Maybe you can have him. Maybe he can be a priest. He pray for. Hey, Derek, I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit because. Initially, we were going to do the introduction, and you were going to get to introduce your dad. If you had a chance to introduce him before he walked up to the podium, I mean, what would you say?
Well, it's as everybody's getting a vibe for, a man that needs no introduction in a crowd like we would have had, that we wish we could all be together. I'd say a number of things. I'd say, I think above all else, one of the things I love about my father is, and you see it in all things he does, is he cares. And he believes that, if you care and if you take pride in what you're doing, good things are going to follow. They may not follow in a linear path, but they're going to follow. So I'd make a point about how much he cares. That it's not his gestures, his involvement, when he's looking you in the eye and shaking your head and saying, hey, buddy, he means it warmly, and he cares about people, he cares about causes, and he cares about making a difference. He's tough, but he's sensitive, really sensitive, and like a lot of people don't get to see that about him. And I think that is a byproduct of caring. And of course, when you have the story that he's had, and you've had to persevere, you build a thick skin, and you have to carry this machismo and this this little bit of armor that makes you seem invincible maybe to the outside world, but those of us that get a chance to see the armor come off know that he's a sensitive man, and that he's emotional, and I've took me time to learn that. For a while he was, there's a point in life where your parents become actually real people. Like, they're just your, you know what I'm saying? They're your parents, and everything's whatever. It's good, or you're at odds, but then you start reflecting back and like, hey, he's just a guy, and he has emotions, and so I think that's a piece that maybe not everybody gets to see, but he's really sensitive. He cares. I didn't say this earlier, but one of the things that I think is critical to his success and his teachings that he's given to me and to really the rest of our team that he leads is belief in the fundamentals. This man believes in the fundamentals, and I was going to make the point on whether it's the golf course, whether it's the office, whether it's on a football field. It's amazing with a little bit of hope and a little bit of desire and a commitment to the fundamentals, like how much you can actually get done. Little incremental steps. Set goals. He's always been goal oriented. He's extremely competitive, as Mark and others have shared, but his goals are sliced up into these incremental things that are achievable, and then eventually you wake up 33 years later, and you have a company that's built, and you're getting awards like this and being honored, but he didn't leap to this point, right? He believed in the fundamentals, and he was dedicated to them day in and day out, and that's why we're sitting here today.
What are some of the things? What you thought you were going to say anything?
No, I was going to add to that that I think that one of the great characteristics, being such a man of faith and family and hard work, is also the fact that he is driven for excellence. Yeah. You know, and that then translates to people around him. You know, whether it's a project to, you know, help someone or a charity or what have you, Sam doesn't just do something half-hearted. He wants to do his best with it, and then the other people involved in that team and that project suddenly have this standard, and they're pursuing the best they can. And I think that is a real hallmark and testimony to the kind of person he is and how beautifully he fits in the mold of Brandon. Because it was, you know, okay, I've got opportunities, I've got this drive, but now how can I help translate that so the people around me also pick up on that? And so his hope is communicates so easily, and then his drive helps motivate other people to pursue.
That's awesome. What do you think about all these people saying good stuff about you? I thought it was going to be more. I thought it was going to be more roast, but this has been very much toast.
Oh, I got to tell you, Keith, this is humbling, and I've never sat on a dining table like this where everybody's complimenting me. But no, it's again, it's really, truly a pleasure to be with friends like you, and even. I need to correct a couple of the stories. One, in particular, is the LSU deal.
Oh yeah, that was it.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
And first of all, you ask me every season, what is the Razorbacks going to do?
Right.
And what's the record?
That's right.
And I said it's going to be 11-1.
Always. Even this year.
Yeah. Well, not this year, by the way. That's 1-11. It's 10 games.
Yeah.
But so it's 11-1, and you and I flying down there, and obviously starting out, you know, by telling Keith, you know, and he remembered that the 11-1. He said, Sam, if they win this game, that's going to be really unbelievable. Is what happened. That's right. And I said, it'll be good if we do. But in the meantime, we're going to LSU, and it's an 11:30 game. I can't remember exactly, back in 2011, and Keith and I. We're walking, and you were with us, that's right. We're walking, and I'm walking ahead, and Derek and Keith are back there, and I'm walking. All these kids, and the kids and the parents are all drunk by now.
That's it.
You know, and in Death Valley.
They put stuff in the milk.
There's no question. And they're pointing fingers. You know, I'm 5'6", and these guys are pointing fingers at me. You know, tiger bait. I got, you know, and I got concerned about somebody may hit me or something. So I looked behind, I saw Keith. I said, I'm going to slow down until Keith catches up to me. So Keith catches up to me. I start walking with Keith. Now I'm with Keith, and this kid come about, and he was going to point finger, and he sees Keith. He says, that's a big one.
That's a big one, Dad. He looked at his dad and said, that's a big one, Dad. Nobody said.
That's exactly right.
So I've been your bodyguard ever since.
So that's exactly right.
I'm an underpaid bodyguard. You know, I want to thank everybody for being here, but I do want to talk about teammates. You know, when you're teammates with the foundation, you know, Brandon had his teammates at the University of Arkansas. You've got some great teammates, but namely one named Janet.
Yes.
And she, if you're getting this award, but she's a part of this award.
She should be here, actually, and she's the one that really. The support, not only Janet, now we've been married over 40 years, but the family and the kids, that being supportive of the person that's out there and rolling their sleeves and trying to make it, and not making it more difficult than it is really what helps people make it in life, because they don't introduce other obstacles. So the support of Janet and the support of Derek, which has been awesome, and his sisters, and I can say that now they're working with me, and it's been a pleasure to have not only them, but I've had brothers that work with me, and nieces and nephews, and it's a family, and everybody's a family, and you're a family, and so as Derek said earlier, it's about the family and it's about the support. But it starts with people like Janet that shows and sets an example for the kids to be supportive of the sort of venture that we're taking.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, this year winner of the Legends Award from the Brandon Burlsworth Foundation, ladies and gentlemen, Sam Alley. I think Marty has a presentation.
Absolutely. We're ready to
present.
All right.
Let's present.
Let's do it.
We're going to go stand behind him and watch the presentation.
Sam, as we talked about at our roundtable discussion, it takes support, takes a great family, and you've got great support. And I know you couldn't do this without Janet, so we want Janet, if you would join us here, please. Certainly deserve to be here. Sam Alley has had a positive impact on everyone here tonight, and so many more that are watching this broadcast. Brandon was known for his hard work and determination, just like Sam. And Brandon is also recognized for his glasses that he wore on the field. His glasses are now immortalized in the Lindsay Reed Vision Award, named for two founding Burlsworth Foundation board members, Jim Lindsay and Stanley Reed. In 2010, Congressman John Paul Hammersmith became our very first Legends honoree, followed by Coach Frank Broyles, and many other leaders in our great state have followed. Sam, we welcome you tonight into the family of Burlsworth Legends alumni.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm honored to receive this award, but also with Brandon legacy and the foundation that y'all built and the name Greater. All I can say, let's all strive to be greater. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
We've had a great evening, but it's not quite over yet. Hang on, we have something very special to share with you. We want to thank you for your support, and please continue to follow and bid on our auction items. For so many children in our state, the need is great, now more than ever. In the movie Greater, a song is featured that gives great meaning to the film. So as we say goodbye and close the 2020 Legends program, please enjoy this very special presentation of I'll Fly Away.
Like a bird from prison walls has flown, I fly away. I fly away, oh glory, I fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I fly away. just a few.